hands and give a big, warm Las Vegas welcome to Kal Penn. Give it up for Ben.
Kal Penn rocks!
This music has me, I feel like I'm disappointing because if I should have taken Spanish in high school and I should have rhyming skills and I should do my entire speech to the music. You're not going to get that. I just studied acting instead. So thank you guys for having me here. We just spent some time just like 2 blocks down at the campaign office here, but we wanted to come to campus also, do a quick nod. I hope that is not the Lord telling me that what I'm about to say is wrong. If I get struck by lightning, I'm never doing this again. We wanted to come and do a quick nonpartisan pitch. You know, the president obviously has been really big on making sure that every young person is registered to vote, no matter who they're ultimately voting for, making sure you guys know your rights to vote, where you can actually vote. So there's a website that we set up called gottavote.org. We also have a bunch of folks with voter registration forms here, so holding them up, yeah. So if you want to register to vote and have it, reach out to them. You're also welcome to come back to the office with us, particularly if you have more partisan questions or policy questions. I you know, want to be respectful here on campus, but happy to answer them over there as well. It is going to rain on us. All right. But wanted to share like just a very quick story because I get this question a lot. What's the importance of voting? Why are you doing this? Don't you have other bad movies to make? Save. That's when you know you have a good crowd. Like I diss my own movies so that somebody else can tell me that they were good. Yes. So I started volunteering and doing stuff like this because I had friends that were in Iraq. I had a lot of buddies that couldn't afford college. I had friends that were discharged because of don't ask, don't tell, and friends that didn't have, health insurance. And I thought, well, we're the richest, most powerful country in the world. It's wrong that is the case, but if enough young people vote, maybe that can change. So that's kind of what the stakes were in the last election, in this election, making sure that young people have their voices heard. And what was kind of interesting was, it doesn't matter if you're a young progressive or a young conservative. In 2008, there was a really interesting statistic that I read, which was that for young evangelical Christian conservatives, their top 5 issues were jobs in the economy, poverty, cost of education, climate change, and Darfur. And if you were a young progressive or liberal, your top 5 issues were exactly the same. You cared about things like college affordability and equality, poverty, climate change, Darfur, jobs. And I thought that was really interesting because the older folks tend to fight a lot. You turn on the TV, whether it's Fox or MSNBC, there's a lot of back and forth, people yelling at each other. As an actor, I can tell you that makes fantastic television. I've done it in a couple of TV shows, but it's not the reality of, I think, what a lot of our friends are dealing with, which is how do you pay for college, how do you buy your textbooks, can you see a doctor? And so I think that's why everyone's hoping that, you do your research on all the candidates that are out there, register to vote so you can make your voice heard, however you feel about those issues. Just get out there and make it happen. I had the chance to work at the White House, and when I was in there working for the president, it was really cool to see that statistic from 2008 was actually true. You had all these senators on both sides of the aisle fighting with each other, but the president would get letters. One letter in particular he got about a year ago from, I think it was 150 student body presidents from universities around the country, and they were like, deeply conservative and deeply liberal and everyone in between. And the point of the letter was, they said, when you're talking about your budget and when you're working with members of Congress to talk about your budget, please don't cut education funding. Because no matter what, and no matter what cuts end up getting made, if you end up cutting education funding and it's harder for us to go to school, we're not going to be as productive down the line. And for our generation, please don't do that. And he was really emotionally moved by that. He actually hopped on a conference call with all of those folks. But it wasn't about politics. Half of them were Republicans, the other half were Democrats. But he wanted to do it because he thought it was the right thing to do, and was really thankful that they were making their voices heard no matter who they were ultimately going to vote for, that they actually went out and did it. So that's why we're here, hoping that you guys will join and do the same and register to vote. I don't know what the rules are here in terms of whether we're allowed to meet and greet folks on campus, or if we've got to take it back a couple blocks, take it back. Okay. Well, we're going to walk back, so if you want to walk with us, feel free to... 3 blocks off campus. And we just came from there because we had a meeting there, and there was a ton of food and a table, so I feel like that's not such a bad trade-off for a walk before it rains. So thank you guys so much. Ben, let me kick it back over to you for a second. Thank you.
Let's for Kal. Put all those signs up. Let me see all the signs up.